jam-packed episode of Overreaction Monday. $20 million revenue sharing. What does that mean, and what does that mean for your team? Also, ESPN did a post-spring top 25 list, and you know me and the mayor ready to rip it to shreds. Only on Overreaction Monday. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Today I am the governor of college football. Yes, sir. The mayor of college football, aka Downtown Nino Brown. Yes, sir. Welcome to another marvelous episode of Overreaction Monday. I am the governor of college football, and with me is a guy that need no introduction, the mayor of college football, Downtown Nino Brown. Hey, Nino, I know you're ready for tonight's episode, man. It's been 2 weeks since we had you on, man. You ready?
It's like I was on vacation. I took a sabbatical.
You taking a sabbatical? Imagine that.
Here's our guy already popping in. He knows it's like clockwork. Dino, how we doing? Hope everybody had a great Memorial Day weekend, enjoyed themselves, family time, and obviously this is for those guys who gave their life for us. So we appreciate everybody out there, veterans and all. Thank you.
Absolutely. So we got very recent news that the NCAA and its board of governors have agreed to the $20 million revenue sharing deal with its current players and $2.7 billion payouts to former players over the last 10 years. Huge W for the players, but can potentially cause for lower level schools in the ACC or Big 12. It's kind of from a competitive perspective, things could be a little unchy, Nino. So how do you feel about this overall? What are the positives, and do you see any negatives with this?
Well, I mean, it's there. It's not approved yet. Claudia Wilkin, the California-based judge, she's going to come down as, the Ice King and decide what she's going to do, whether it's yes or no. And we'll find that out in the next couple of months. But, I mean, they gave them $20 million, and they can do whatever they want to do with it, however they want. It doesn't have to be, distributed through their athletics evenly or whoever evenly. This is now what we have done now, a feeder system, okay? Or for those out there that don't get it, this is a farm system. We have the P4, which is the major leagues, and then the G4 and everybody else, and now you guys are farm teams. People are going to go to you 1 year, 2 year stepping stone, get a little bit of paper, get a little bit of buzz, and then go somewhere else. Hit the major, get the call up to the major leagues. Now I want to know how they're gonna do this, fair play or how these guys are doing this backdoor stuff, because these guys are gonna be able to contact these guys throughout whenever they want. Now they're gonna have to kind of figure out a way to sanction, illegal tender and all that stuff mid-season, because it's gonna happen a lot more now, I think, than it did before. But yeah, I mean, I think in the end, like I said to you before, in a decade from now, people are just going to go, whoa, didn't expect that product. Whether it be good or bad, I guess we won't know. It just has to play itself out. But I mean, they're going to have to make a decision here. They're going to have to stipulate, because right now it's in that gray area. Are players employees? Are they not employees? So something has to kind of get figured out. And I think it will in the next, 6 to 8 months or whatever it is. But this is kind of, they push the ball down the hill a little bit to get this sanctioned. You can figure out there's a lot of money flying around. A lot of young kids kind of pushed to the level of we got control here, and they didn't really like that too much. So I don't know, my man D. Now unionized, I don't know. There's a reason why they want that language, that verbiage has been put out there, that they don't want players to be looked at as employees. I had just read that this weekend. So I think they're going to have some legality come up here, and they're going to try to get that verbiage settled, because they don't want unions. That's something that they don't want. Because then we got a whole different ballgame. It's a whole different script that we're talking about. So right now, I think it's okay. I'm okay with it. I think everybody's kind of okay with it. Especially as P4 schools are definitely okay with it. I would like to, get some buzz on how guys in how I have Liberty or Charlotte. You know what I mean? How they're feeling, what their looks are on it. But I'm cool for right now.
I think the idea of amateurism is kind of out the window. You said, are these guys employees? Essentially, they're still area for reform so that situations like the Jaden Rashada situation never happens again. Situations like the Caden Proctor situation doesn't happen again, where he's able to leave a school, go to a school. I'm not sure if he ever collected any money, but if he did collect any money from Iowa, and then just to go back, we still need reform. But this is a step in the right direction, I believe so. At least for the players.
So in regards to the Rashada thing, and I think we're going to kind of figure it out, but because we haven't seen any kind of bomb go off, and then when we saw the documents come out, I told you that guy might give you money if you come to my school. I didn't. We didn't even really shake hands. It was all over an email and text message.
Right.
Come on. You know what I'm saying? Like right now, they're gonna have to. There's gonna be a lot of crossing T's and dotting I's going forward. Rashada might maybe, so they don't have to hear about this anymore, might get a small check his way. Ain't what he was going after, and
no,
really think he's kind of got legs to stand on. And I feel bad for the young man. The spot where you could just erase everything, start over, wait a year, groom, and who knows? It could be his team next year, right? So
he's in a much better situation now in Georgia if he's able to win that starting spot next year after Carson Beck heads to the NFL. But rooting for that young man is just, I think D-Now brings up a great question. Is it time to unionize? So
we're not going to leave that quickly, because if we're going to leave off on a union, I got to think it brings in, bring in health benefits, right? Now you gotta bring in all this other stuff, but now where does the factor in there? You're coming, it's work. You're getting a school tuition for free, so somewhere that shit's got to get factored in, whether it comes off the deal. Like, okay, I'll give you get the 500,000. Unfortunately, your tuition comes out to $250K. So at the end of the day, you only have $250K, value to you. Otherwise, what's the whole point of school then? Then we might as well just make a whole football league and not even have anything to do with school.
I mean, tuition. I think that these not even student athletes. I think that these athletes are generating loads of money for schools, and for years they've generated loads of money for schools, and they put fans in the seats. And when you think about it, tuition, yes, that the person that's not an athlete that's going to school paying 40-50 grand a year is certainly not fair to them, but it's kind of like a benefit. Like, some companies, when you sign up to work for them, they give you shares in company. After you leave that company, they send you a nice parting gift. I guess the tuition would kind of be a benefit in that factor, but it's a healthy benefit though when we look at it like that. But there's a lot of I's and T's that need to be dotted and crossed when we start talking unionizing. And you're no longer looked at upon as a student athlete. If you're not performing on the field, we can start taking some things away from you, right? So it doesn't just benefit the player; it also benefits the university as well. So.
It's a very sticky situation, gray area, whatever you want to call it, to get into.
You're a part of a union, right?
No, I couldn't.
Couldn't do it. Yeah, I'm not either.
And granted, now for wealth and welfare and lifestyle, yes, that would be unions are the way to go. You're benefited all the way. There are just things I cannot do. And I watched a lot of these people. I just can't sit around, do nothing, and watch somebody do. You can't do that, sir. You have to wait until it's your turn. It's not for me. And the structure of it, I get it, but that's not my style. So.
I hear you, man. Let's get into this ESPN post spring top 25. I'm going to go down the list. Nino's going to go crazy. I already know, and I'm sure he's got his own top 25. So I'm going to read ESPN's top 25. Nino's going to tell us what he liked, what he dislikes, and then he's going to re-rank these teams as well. And number 1, we got the Georgia Bulldogs. At number 2, Ohio State Buckeyes. Number 3, we got Texas Longhorns. Number 4, my God, Nino's Duckies. And number 5, Notre Dame Fighting Irish. And number 6, Ole Miss. And number 7, Alabama. Number 8, Missouri. A lot of people putting a lot of stock in Missouri. At number, who I skip over? Did I skip over number 6? Oh, no, I didn't skip over Ole Miss. But me and Nino are buying stock for Lane Kiffin in the Ole Miss Rebels this year. At number 10, the Michigan Wolverines.
You want to stop? You
Yeah,
want
let's
to go?
stop at the top 10. Let's
Yeah.
we stop at the 10. How you feeling about the top 10,
I don't think it's bad. I just think it's chalk. I think it's a layup. I think it's just their way of not having to get any slack early, way too early in their top 25. I got a little bit of shuffle. I got some questions. I kept them in the top 10. One team is Notre Dame, but like, I asked myself why. What earns them a top?
You know what it is.
It's
the prestige. You know what it
on
is.
TV. You know,
right?
The golden dome and all of that. Not that they're a bad team, but they don't have a fully healthy Riley Leonard. It's a new system for him. It's a new program. It's a new wide receiver coach, a whole new wide receiver room.
Core. Yeah.
A lot of new youth in the backfield. Well, not a youth and new faces in that secondary and that linebacker room. There's talent. Don't get me wrong. And I kept them in there because of the promise and what they could bring. So I got them at 7. I dropped them down 2 spots. I kept Georgia at 1. I mean, they earned that back to back, and then coming in the Final Four and that whole thing. So then at 2, I decided to switch it up. I got the Ducks. I'm gonna put Oregon at 2. I think everything they've built, what they've proven, what they've done. People will say, well, a lot of losses. They filled in the losses nice and easily.
They did.
It may have been lateral movements, to be honest with you, in that system. So I got the Ducks there. Then I got Ohio State at 3. They spent a lot of money, right? And they brought in the right pieces.
Awful lot of money.
I will need Will Howard to prove me wrong. Okay. I have a funny feeling that they're going to be more of a run-heavy team. I think he's just going to be driving the bus. I don't believe he is the guy. You know what I mean? But we'll have to see. At 4, I got Ole Miss. At 5, I got Texas. At 6, I got Missouri. I think people are sleeping on Missouri, and they kind of kicked people in the face and stomped in their throats last year. They didn't lose anything. Brought a lot of people back. Returned a lot of guys on that offensive line back. Got guys on defense back. Eli Drinkwitz is just sitting there. He's just like, you guys keep underestimating me. I'm just going to keep coming in here and hitting, combos. And then they have possibly, wide receiver 1, Luther Burden. So I got them at 6. At 7, I got Notre Dame. I moved them there. At 8, I got Bama. Now I got Michigan. And a lot of people may say maybe they're no proven QB. I see you, D now. No proven QB and all that. National championship, the talent's still there. Maybe not at the quarterback department, right? But I think that they got enough in that running back department that in the Big Ten, what they're going to do, I think that their style of play, I think they can still manhandle a lot of teams in that conference. And I think that people may be off on them and underestimating them because of the fact that they don't have a proven quarterback. Who knows? They could be a run and shoot style offense, with Orgy if he's the guy there. And then at 10, I got Utah. It's hard for me to keep them out of the 10 spot. They're kind of that team that was like, I just don't know how Cam Wright. I don't trust those guys worth shit with what they tell me about health concerns, any of that. Right? We've seen that last year. So, but he's kind of like the Sam Hartman, the veteran in this year's group, right? So it's like, I think they've got pieces together. They got that offense can be really solid. I know that front 7 on defense is going to always attack. That's what they do. And I think they're the newcomer in a new conference that we both agree can shake things up and maybe be the guy to win their conference in year 1. So I keep them at 10. But they also could be a team, and I think I'll say now that could drop drastically and quickly.
So we had some moving pieces there. So you like Oregon over Ohio State. I definitely like the coaching with Oregon better. I think their resources are plentiful, but the resources in Columbus are plentiful as well. I want to talk about Michigan a little bit more. Okay. The return in production is at 36%. That's the lowest in the conference. SP plus rank is at 6. Recruiting class is at 16th. I believe in the way Michigan develop players. Do you think some of that will still be the same with some of the staffers gone, with Coach Harbaugh will be gone? Do you think they'll pick up right where they left off,
I mean, they stole the main ingredient from Ohio State. It's why Ohio State had to go get Chip Kelly, right? So if you don't think that running back room is going to take a step, then you are mistaken.
For sure.
My friend, Edwards, Mullins, and then you have Hall, and you have a couple other elements, and you get the freshmen coming in as well. I think that's going to be a revolving door led by Edwards. He's going to be the main guy, but they are going to have a lot of two-back sets, I believe. You're going to see a lot of, maybe options with them guys as well. Yeah, I get it. Returning guys, what would you say, 36%?
Yeah, 36% return on production.
But they're bringing up guys that kind of have a chance now, right? And Samaj Morgan, we've seen him, right? He may be a gadget guy, but he was manufactured touches, and in a championship game, he was the guy that they went to. As well. And then you're going to see guys like, can it be that dude on the outside? Can he take over, the outside guy? And Tyler Morris, can he be a guy that steps up, right? Defensively, though, they have guys, right? Jair Hill, Will Johnson. They have they have the front seven, right? Mason Graham is an absolute dog. He's possible right now, first round pick. So, yeah, they do lose production, but the guys that were behind them had small production. They're ready for a bigger role.
They're trying to go.
We say this about Alabama every year, right? They return 40% production, right? But the guys every year seem to get stepped in, eat up, do what they got to do, and go first and second round. I'm not saying Michigan is going to put 12 guys in the first 70 picks this year, right? But I'm just saying I just read you a list of 7 or 8 guys who could be top in caliber in their position in the country.
I think you nailed that take, Nino. I think you absolutely nailed that take. I'm with you with Michigan. Jalen was giving me a hard time on College Football Showdown about my believability in Michigan. Something is working in Ann Arbor. Whatever force it is working in Ann Arbor. It's not quite working in Columbus the way that it should be when you look at the talent. Because if you look at names on paper, Ohio State has been more talented if you're looking at names on paper. But if you look at the production and the way that Michigan has been able to develop over the last 3 or 4 years, you're seeing that, hey, it is next man up mentality that happened with their coach. Their coach was 3 or 4 games last year. Yeah. Jerome Moore crying, but he was able to get pivotal experience. The Penn State game, couple fourth downs they had to go with. They had to run the rock a bunch of times in a row. Yes. You knew what they were going to do, and you still couldn't stop it. It was smash mouth football and having a more dynamic runner at quarterback. If it looks like Orgy's going to be the guy at quarterback, things can be very much the same, except for the only difference is if Buddy pull that thing away, Buddy can take that thing 20, 25 yards and even more. So,
and my point, and I've talked to Andy about that, who's our guy who wrote Welcome to the Big House.
Does a fantastic job.
Breaks it all down any way you want. But if OG is your guy, right? There's no 2-eye safety. You're bringing a safety in. He has to come in to either spy him or a linebacker off the rip. And now it's just monitoring this guy. And if they're heavy in the run game, yeah, they may win games ugly, 17-10, 17-3. But what is a dub's a dub, right? That's what we all say. So
ain't that how you win games in the Big Ten?
That's how it's supposed to be. That's old school,
right. Blue collar, bring your lunch pail to work. We're gonna punch you in the mouth. We're gonna tell you to play. The play coming right through here, but what you gonna do about it?
Steal the play. Can't this shit though, because we got mics and helmets.
So hey, I love it. So let's talk about the next grouping of teams. What you want to do, like 10 through 17? How you want to order 10 through 20? 10 through 17. So on this list, they had, we stopped at 10. It's 11 through 17. Florida State Seminoles at 11. At 12, Penn State Nittany Lions. At 13, NC State Wolfpack. I've said this on this show before that I believe that they've been a tier 2 team in the ACC for a while now. It's time for them to make that jump, and maybe they can make that jump this year. At 14, LSU. I wonder how you feel about that. I wonder how Andy feel about that, because I know how you guys feel about the quarterback there. Nussmeier. And number 15, Tennessee. At 16, Clemson. At 17, the team in the Little Apple, Kansas State Wildcats. Nino, break it down for us.
So at 11, I have LSU. Well, and that discussion about where we got them right there. Because I think, and we'll talk about a little bit more in the next segment, but I think a lot of people are sleeping on people and not realizing where the talent's at, because they may not be the name that they know or like to hear about. But I think, Brian Kelly is a top tier coach in this game. And I am I trusted Andy and what he's made me see in Nussmeier, and he's probably going to be a top tier quarterback in this game. There's a lot of other parts we'll get to in the next segment on why I believe LSU is going to be a monster once again.
Their return is 6 to 8% production. SP plus ranked 9, number 7 recruiting class in the nation. Newsflash: LSU is going to be good again this year.
Yeah. People just want to hate. They can hate all they want, but this next team, Penn State, I don't understand it. I don't understand it. Don't let James Franklin get got like the dude from Michigan State did last year. That's all I'm saying. Michigan State guy got caught up in some. James Franklin's trying to push people off, bro. Yeah, James Franklin's trying to push people off bridges, bro. That got psychiatric problems trying to kick them off teams, bro. You heard about none of that? People try. Apparently, what's going on is Franklin's
your intel is next level. Hold on. You just dropped a bomb. What happened?
Franklin is being accused of trying to kick off 2 students who had attempted to jump off out the window, right? And they were on medical leave. He's trying to kick them off the team. What happens if they kicked off the team? They lose a scholarship, they lose the medical rights.
Oh, come on. That's inhumane.
I think they're going to dig a little more deeper than this, and he might get Mel Tucker. You know what I'm saying?
I'm sure Nebraska's probably getting sick of the same old him. Hey, we almost had it. You get tired of the almost had it. Like, when is it going to be our time? Like,
now you can't keep your name in the good. And unfortunately, I've been a guy that's been pounding the table about him, but Drew Law hasn't really done anything to kind of keep his status. So why they're that high, I don't really know. Yes, all right, Abdul Carter's a dog, and they have 2 running backs.
For sure.
But sure. They lost a guy in the wide receiver room. That wide receiver room is kind of iffy. Secondary is going to be kind of iffy. I don't know. At 12, I got Florida State. I put Florida State down 1 notch. I put LSU up 1. At 13, I think that's still high for the Wolfpack. I got Tennessee at 13. I think Nico, we'll get into them a little bit in the next segment as well. But I think Nico's going to be able to ride the bumps and bruises of year 1 in that system with Heupel. 14, they had LSU. I got the Wolfpack.
Shout out to you and D now too. You guys did an amazing episode on Debbie Dollins. You guys were talking about Tennessee and talking about some of the weapons that they have. It was very educational for me. I'm like, these guys don't. They don't.
That was the Mikey Matthews.
Yeah, Mikey Matthews episode. Yeah.
Look at my guy. He says, "Yep, James Franklin's about to I'm telling you, it's just, bro, we watch this. It's like watching a movie, right? You can watch the movie over and over again. The ending at the end don't change. You might give you a disc with alternate endings, but you got to pop it out, plug it in. Right. And you know what I'm saying? So we ain't getting the same movie.
It's like the next coach gonna need a psych evaluation, man. Thinking about what we had at Penn State over the last. That's scary. I did not know that. I'm going to look into that after we get off.
You go up, you get down. You go back up, you get back down. So my concern with NC State, and I got them at 14, is yes, that offense looks great, right? And is McCall the guy? Is he? We get what? Coastal Carolina McCall we get what year? Right. Record setting. I'm constantly injured. The guy in the middle, which one? Because you're kind of just like that drunk guy coming down the highway. I see 3. I'm gonna shoot for the middle and hope for the best. That's why I feel like NC State's at right now with Grayson McCall. Right? They're drunk driving. They're just gonna go down the middle of the lane and shoot for the guy in the middle. And I hope they hit him to the promised land. They also have outside of Concepcion, right? They got a couple of guys coming in that are kind of like going on their next leg. Noah Rodgers, he couldn't make it at one spot. Is he the guy at the next spot, right? But defensively, I swear, I'm like, who's the guy? Who's going to be the guy defensively that's going to step up for the Wolfpack and solidify that front 7, right? I feel that the reason why they went on and attack this offense, I think they may have to put up somewhere in the high 20s, 30s every game to be competitive. Maybe they can, maybe they can't, but that could be, like I said, live by the 3, die by the 3.
For sure.
You live by the potent offense, you die by the potent offense. We'll have to wait and see.
I feel like Tony Gibson figures it out every year with NC State.
But could it be too late? Like, when they figured it out, too late. You know what I mean? Like, games where they could have been in it and there was shootouts. Like, I'm not saying Colorado style, but games where they had control, but their defense kind of let the other team back in it. You know what I mean?
Yeah. And 59% return of production. You know what they scare me of? They remind me of, you remember the hype that Pitt was getting coming into last season and it just didn't work? Granted, I like the quarterback a lot more.
Well, yeah, and he's not out of shape either. Turkovich was beer belly in it.
Dude. But if there's a team that keep like, NC State was supposed to be pretty good this year. What happened?
Like Clemson, like last year.
Yeah,
Clemson was supposed to be pretty good this year.
They were.
Right.
They were.
Things that just didn't click. And you got to remember, it's also, it's kind of my theme in the next segment. A lot of moving pieces for some of the teams. Don't always, they don't always click in the gear on the first go around. So at 14, I said I had the Wolfpack. At 15, I put Penn State. All right, I dropped them down 3 spots. I don't really trust Nicholas Singleton either, man. I mean, we're looking at a guy that kind of lost all of his fire last year. There was no explosiveness to him. His explosive rate was low. I think his yards per attempt was like 3 point something after being close to 6 the year before. So
he was.
The guy behind him is pulling a Devin A. chain or Isaiah Spiller. We're seeing it happen right here. Allen is doing it right to Singleton.
And it was reversed Singleton's freshman year. And then last year, Katron Allen definitely looked like the better back last year.
So they say iron sharpens iron. I don't know about this one. I think iron might be cutting the other iron out of the picture. So I don't know, but
that's a great take, D. Now I like that.
Hey, that's possible. It's very possible, and they could be out of the top 20 within the first 4 weeks. We'll have to wait and see.
Hey, we know the AP poll don't play, bro. we know how they do.
So at 60, I got Arizona. Another team that people just maybe aren't familiar with, don't want to put faith in, don't believe in this guy, but they keep adding pieces. Tet's back to normal. The boot's gone, the scooter's gone. The man's okay. Fafita looked great in the spring game. Like, obviously, they've added pieces. My boy Reese Cano's out there in the running back room. They've added guys defensively in that second. I think they added, I want to say something like a dozen guys in the spring portal alone. So they've been cooking out there in Arizona. I think they have something, and I believe they're a little low at 20. So I bumped them up.
They shouldn't be at 20. Even with Jed Fish leaving and Coach Brennan coming in,
game plan ain't that different.
Pieces. No, it's not, and they still got sub 70%, return of production and got better in the portal.
The whole line's coming back, I think, but one guy, right? And then they obviously they lose their tight end, right? But that's in this day and age, that's
is that one of your Joe Moore? A line to look at for the Joe Moore this upcoming year? Arizona? We'll see.
It's a possibility. It's a very good point because
they got in the Big 12, especially in the Big 12. Yeah.
There's a lot of guys. That backfield is a backfield that I'm watching heavily. Obviously, I'm a Reese Cano guy, but they got a lot of pieces over there that they can put together, make a nice, beautiful Van Gogh puzzle out there in Arizona. I like that. So, and then I bumped Clemson down 1. I truly believe with everything going, I think Dabo has no choice but to figure this the F out this year, whether he's got to take a step back and let Garrett Riley do a little bit more. And from what I read, Klubnik and Riley are kind of working together eye to eye. I think it's gonna happen. He's gonna let the reins off a little bit and kind of let him sit in a cockpit with him this year. You know what I mean? And let him, so if that's the case, watch out. They get that wide receiver room is underrated. Right. If they are 100% healthy and bringing in the freshmen, they are underrated.
I like it.
Watch out there. That's at 17. So now we can run the gauntlet the rest.
Okay. So now we can do the rest. At 18, we got Oklahoma Sooners. Shout out to our guy Boomer. At number 19, we got the Oklahoma State Cowboys. At 20, Arizona Wildcats. Me and Nino both feel that they were definitely better than the 20 ranking. At 21, Virginia Tech Hokies. This is a team to watch. This is a team on my watch list. It's a team on Nino's watch list.
My watch list.
I'm telling you, Virginia Tech, the most return production in the ACC this year. Got a coach that's a son of the coach. Matt Bourne is coming to his own. The pieces that they got with Ali Jennings coming back, DeQuan Felton and Kyron Jones is must-see TV. If you have not seen him, please go look up his tape. Kansas Jayhawks at 22. Iowa Hawkeyes at 23. Shout out to our guy D now, man. Hawks and Nets podcast, man. Best Iowa podcast out there. 24 Miami Hurricanes. At 25, my guy Nino, boy, Lincoln Riley at 25. Nino, break it down as you do so well.
All right, so at 18, I'm sorry, Boomer, but I dropped Kansas State down 1 to 18. I think that offense is going to be fast, and I think that offense is going to be electric. You got Avery Johnson, they got Giddens, you got the transfer coming over from Colorado,
Dylan Edwards.
Yeah,
and they do well with small running backs too.
You know what I mean? So they're just going to DJ Giddens. He's possibly a top 10 running back in the country, and people just don't. Unaware of it because he's a Kansas State. This dude is super, super talented. He could do everything inside, outside. His game's got the receiving skills. He's a dog. So I think he's going to just accentuate Avery Johnson. Him and Batman and Robin, baby. Batman and Robin. I got them at 18. At 19, I'm going to say the same. This is the only team I think is kind of ranked where they kind of should be at Oklahoma State. If their quarterback is healthy, I think that they can make a nice little run here in this late teen area, kind of maybe get to the 15 by the middle of the season. At 20, I got my Hokies. I think they deserve to be in the top 20. Like you said, the production they're returning. Kyron Jones, I've been saying, is a baby Jalen Hurts. And I think this is this year, just like Jalen Hurts did in the third year, where he just takes that jump. You are witnessing it happen.
I want to say you started that hype train too. You got to see it up close and personal.
Miranda knows. She'll admit it to you. Miranda will admit it to you. I was always pumping up the balloon for him. I think he's the guy. And he's just constantly just getting better and better.
Yeah.
His game just translates so well to the NFL and the next level. Like I said, I truly believe he's like Jalen Hurts.
This reminds me of an older style Virginia Tech, with the Marcus Vicks, with the Michael Vicks, with the Tyrod Taylor.
They brought back the jersey. Stupid.
Yeah. They did. They took the stripes. Yeah. I like that. That's cold.
They ain't messing around. So I got them in the top 20. At 21, I got Oklahoma. And we'll talk about my thoughts on Oklahoma in the next segment. But I like Jackson Arnold. He's a guy, but this is a lot of moving parts that are going to play into this. At 22, I have Miami. Everybody wants to talk about Cristobal and everything he did, bro. He went and knocked it out the park in the portal and recruiting this year. And the recruiting guys are already paying dividends already. In spring, we're seeing guys like Trader possibly getting a start and roll. So I got a funny feeling Miami's going to climb up earlier than people thought. I mean, this is where they're going to drop them at, but I think after week 2 or 3, you might see them a lot higher than you thought. 23 they had Iowa. I put Kansas there. I have questions in Daniels. Back injuries for quarterbacks or linebackers scare the God for living sake out of me. It's one shot from the left side, especially from a guy who's short and mobile. He doesn't get down in time, or he gets down and some guy hits him from a weird angle, and now this guy's smoked, right? There's no Bean coming out. Like, they had the luxury of having Bean last year come in there and just win games or keep them in games down the stretch. They probably wouldn't have been in with any other backup. You know what I'm saying? That's not named Arch Manning. But so he was, and look, he's on the NFL. Nobody thought he'd make it to the NFL. He was undrafted, but he's there. So obviously the talent was there. At 24, Caden Salter and the Liberty Flames should be ranked. They should be ranked, people. Give the G5 their due. They should be ranked. He's back. He has talent. The coaching staff is back, and they are going to be electric once again. At 25, USC does not deserve to be there at all. Go kick rocks with all this shit. I'll put Iowa there, okay?
Yeah.
You want to talk about, what quarterback? I told Dina already. If McNamara's not 100%, let my guy Resner go, bro. Let James Resner run it. I think he's a better version of what they want in Cade. But if he's not 100%, then let McNamara, run his team. Offense is scary to me. It's they're going to be led by the defense, right? They're going to be asked every week, just get a 17. If you can get a 17, there's like an 80% chance we can win these games. But I don't know if they can get 17 on a weekly basis. I honestly just don't know. And that sucks because I love that running back. Is it Johnson? I think that hits a stud, right?
Yeah.
I think he's going to. I said it earlier. I think there's a good chance that he could go off and have one of them years where all of a sudden he came on nowhere. Now he's going to talk for the Dope Walker because in that offense with whatever quarterback they go with, he could be the integral piece. He could be the motor that turns the whole ship and keeps them running. Who knows? He's our guy, and he probably right now couldn't tell you who's going to be the guy for Iowa on offense. Nobody knows. They don't even know, I don't think. You know what I mean? But I think that defense is stout. That defense is top 5. Jay Higgins is an absolute monster. That secondary could possibly, Dino's already said it, maybe 3 guys, in the top 75 come out of that secondary. The defense is going to carry them. If they can figure it out slightly offensively, they could win some games that they probably weren't supposed to.
I got 2 data points about Iowa, and I think this really kind of translate well to your argument. 1, 79% return production. That's elite, especially in that conference where
Hold
the
on.
average.
That's a skewed stat, though, my friend.
And then also, and now I'm gonna let you get to your point. Also, the last 10 years, EA Sports had to use 10 years of data from the AP poll, the final AP poll, to figure out, the tier 1 teams, tier 2, tier 3, tier 4. Iowa was in tier 1. So those are 2 like statistical things. But go ahead. You said that's a loaded stat. Talk to me.
Well, okay, yeah, okay. You bring back, 75% of production and only score 13 points a game. Who gives a flying shit? Like, that doesn't mean you were good.
But if some of that production is defense, which they were immaculate on, other than a couple of games.
Out of that 70%, 73% production, I guarantee you probably 60% of that is defensively. You know what I'm saying? Like, so that's why I think the defense is driving a seat. The defense is out there like Mad Max, crushing everything and leaving the rubble for the offense and the scraps for the offense to pick up. All you got to do is just pick up the scraps. Follow the yellow brick road. That's it. Follow the yellow brick road and you can get dubs, right?
Yeah, they can. SP plus rating of 20, rank of 22 as well. So that's pretty solid. So Nino, I'm gonna let you take over this next segment. Go ahead. Let's talk about some SEC over unders, but some teams that you really looking at that over under and give your reasoning for why they will go over and or under.
Well, I gave you one for everybody because I just I didn't know how you were gonna go here.
Go crazy. Do your thing.
All right. So with Alabama, you gave me the over under 9.5, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I went under. Okay, because here's my theme. The moving pieces. There's a lot of moving pieces here in Alabama,
right?
In the buzz for a second. Now I agree that Milroe looks to have improved his throwing motion in a very short time under this coaching staff. But who will be the guy for Alabama? These are my questions. So they've always had a guy, whether it was on defense, whether it was on offense. I don't think they have a guy right now. And if you look at their schedule, it's hard for me to say, yeah, they can win 10 games in SEC. This first run of the ball.
SEC is loaded too.
With a lot of question marks at every level on both sides of the ball. So therefore, I went under. All right. Arkansas. For all the shit that we give Billy Napier and Mario Cristobal, Sam Pittman could be the first goddamn coach fired in the first quarter of the season. All right? I went under. The portal and the recruitment for the Hogs has been the most odd, ludicrous year I've ever seen. I think they got a guy who hadn't played they played baseball.
They did.
For 8 years.
That's accurate.
He's trying so hard. And then look at the quarterback room. You have so much inexperience, right? Taylor Green's coming from Boise State, where he really wasn't a throwing quarterback. Singleton's a redshirt freshman. And then the other KJ to replace this KJ, J.J. Jackson, he's a true freshman. There is very little experience in that room. Who replaces Rocket Raheem? A QB turned running back and Quidon Jackson, or freshman Braylon Russell? They just lost Augustine and Johnson to the portal in the last 10 days.
Right.
Arkansas is lost. They need to find themselves. I don't know what's going on. In the last 2 years, Arkansas done flipped upside down and spun around on their head trying to spit quarters, and they're throwing out pennies. I just don't know what's going on over there, but I'm going under. It's going to be hard for them 1-4. It's going to be hard for Sam Pittman to survive the first quarter of the season and keep his job.
Unfortunately, I agree with you, but I do like the coaching job that Sam Pittman did in 2021 and 2022. Definitely had a murderous schedule in 2022. Was able to win a lot of ball games. Last year was a disaster, and I know you and Jay Crane was calling for his job, like bro need to go. So we'll see. It's gonna be difficult though.
Yeah. Now let's talk about Auburn. You mentioned my boy Jake, right? He's a big Auburn fan. Over on 7.5. I'm gonna go over. Okay. I think Hugh Freeze in the last 2 years has been cooking better than the Salt Bay. Okay, my man's out there, went out there and got a possible wide receiver 1 in Lambert Smith, right? An experienced wide receiver 2 and Robert Lewis, 2 absolute alphas in recruits and 5-star in Perry Thompson and Cam Coleman. Paired Rico Walker with Rivaldo Fair with the tight end department. Now you got 2 big boys that can catch. So that offense, even though Peyton Thorne could be checked down Charlie, right?
Mm-hmm.
He's pairing them with alphas and dogs around him that fit his scheme, okay? Then he went on defense. Trill Carter, Jerry and Thompson from Texas, Dorian Mazza Jr., linebacker out of 2, Antonio Kayet. He went and replaced every hole he had last year to compete with the competition. There's a couple of games that they were in down the stretch. They ended up losing. Obviously, the Alabama game, where had a player or two been different, their record changes. And now we're looking at that. Oh, shit. Hugh Freeze is doing something already, right?
Yeah.
I think there's a good chance that Hugh Freeze could mess around and win 9 games this year. Win some games that they weren't supposed to, or teams didn't think that they were supposed to win. And now we're like, oh, man, Auburn could be back to where they were supposed to be, especially because he's recruited. We've seen this before. This is a movie that we've seen
for
had
sure.
a positive ending, right?
Mm-hmm.
Freeze is doing the same thing he did before. He's just doing it at a bigger stage. That's all it is. He's not a small fish in a big pond. He's just a big fish in any pond. Give me the over for Auburn.
It's all on Peyton Thorne, man. he eliminated all the excuses, but I like that. So you going with the over for Auburn? What about Florida? 4.5 games.
Bookmark it. Clip it. Whatever the hell you got to do. I know Napier's another coach on a hot seat, but he's been Chef Boyardee cooking in this offseason.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah. 6 5-star recruits via the portal. McClain, Grayson Howard, Elijah Badger, Grimsley, Jameer Grimsley. DJ Lagway is here. He was able to retain him and bring him in to Florida. Huge. I'm not a Graham Mertz fan, but damn, he figured it out last season at Gainesville, right? And 3 out of them first 4 games, they are winnable. And don't let them mess around and get some confidence. I think 5 is the ceiling, but 5 is over. And if he wins 5 with that team, with that schedule, my man's smooth operator, he will be there again.
He keep his job. Okay, that's what I was waiting for. he will keep his job. I'm loving it. Georgia over under 10.5 games.
I'm gonna go over. Cost effect is a top 5 quarterback college football right now, and you can't deny that. Georgia and Kirby Smart going back to back, and then going, like I said before, into the Final Four speaks volumes of the program. I've said this multiple times. I will stand on it. Stand on my business. It's probably the best wide receiver room Georgia's had in a decade. Okay, Rod Thomas, Dylan Bell, Kobe Young, Dominic Lovett, London Humphreys. That's a legit room. Mm-hmm. I honestly can't go back and think about, at least in the last 5 to 7 years, anything better than that with the options to throw to. Without tight ends, I'm just talking wide receiver room at all. But it's 2 dates, 9/28, 10/19, at Bryant-Denny Stadium, at DKR Stadium. You got to walk in there, put them on a table, and say, mine's is bigger than yours, and walk the fuck out. I just don't know. Those are going to be games. You say measuring stick games, those are epic battles. Those are you not entertained type fucking battles right there. They've been proven. They're going to have to be tested. That running back room will start to be so deep. That shit's like a puddle right now. You got about 2 guys. You better help the God they stay healthy. That's all my concern right now with Georgia is that running back room, which I didn't think I would ever be a concern.
I like it. Up next, we got Kentucky over under 6.5.
Under. A team with a shit ton of moving parts. I don't even know if that transmission can handle it. QB, linebacker, running back, that's all brand new faces. Offensive coordinator again for the 3rd time in 4 years is bad news bears for me. This will be the first installment of a dude that was put on the shelf and got dusty and Brock Franley Griff. They have a loaded wide receiver room. Can he get it to them? I know they added Macklin, right? Key, Byron Brown. I just can't see them winning more than 6.5. I went under.
Wow, and I know they hurt to do that. LSU over under 9.5.
Over. I mean, tons of people are sleeping on Gary Nussmeier and what he brings to the table. I mean, it looks like Kyron Lacey seems to be the next stud wide receiver for LSU. Mm-hmm. We're not watching National Geographic, but the gorilla in Hal Perkins is back in his natural habitat and ready to eat. He's ready to unleash the beast that is Hal Perkins. You are ready for a shitstorm in the SEC, and Harold Perkins is going to bring the train.
Missouri, same thing. Over under 9.5.
Over. Honestly, I think that could be 7-0 before they face Bama in week 8. And that's a train with a shit ton of steam behind it that you don't want to be in front of. Luther Burden, possibly wide receiver 1 with the sidekick, Theo Weiss, who is a long thought conclusion of an Oklahoma product right now. He's already done his thing, and we know what he's got. Offense was top in the country last year. They lost Schrader, but they added Marcus Carroll and Nate Noel, who I believe have better receiving capability and could give you the same amount of production combined on the ground. Brady Cook don't get enough respect. Give him his R-E-S-P-E-C-T. God damn, that kick and cook. No pun on his name. I think that they're a team. I think there's a team that's going to be a top 10 team all year. I don't know. They're probably going to be a top 7 team all season.
That's also going to be a very fun team to use on EA Sports College Football 25. Oklahoma, over under 7.5.
I thought about this one for a while. I thought about booming in the back of my head saying if I didn't do them right. But I went over by a half game. I got him at 8. I think it's going to be a tough year 1 transition in the SEC. Jackson Arnold's a stud, but there's a lot of kinks he's got to work out. We saw 3 picks in that bowl game. I know that was his first time thrown in the fire, and he's had a full off season. But you can see that he's still kind of, not as polished as we thought, right? But the tools and the traits are there. They lost a ton to the portal, but they returned a huge guy, Danny Stutzman. I mean, him coming back defensively is enormous for them.
It is.
That wide receiver room, who takes a step? Is it Burks? Is it going to be Nick Anderson? I mean, Mr. Touchdown King. All I do is catch touchdowns to Nick Anderson. Or be the new guy in Burks come in. So there's a lot of questions, a lot of moving parts. Is Sawchuck going to be the lead back? Are they going to let him run the rock? Or sometimes they play funny games with their running back. Look at what they did with Devontae Bonds for 2 years. Like, you just don't really know. So for me, there's a lot of moving parts, new conference. I think they get to 8, but I think that's the absolute max.
8's gonna be tough for Oklahoma, man. but I understand why you made the pick. Ole Miss, I know where you're going here. Over under 9.5.
Over. I mean, I have him as national champion favorite right now. I think Main Train finally puts all the pieces to this puzzle, and we see the masterpiece this season. I mean, Jackson Dart has figured it the fuck out. Right, he's eliminated the turnovers, but still continuing to be a downfield dominant quarterback. It's just there's no more turnovers. You don't have to worry about this guy throwing up stupid plays. He's dialed the fuck in, and he knows what he's doing. They got probably the deepest wide receiver room in the country, right? And I got one of the deepest front sevens in the SEC. The Rebel season. It's hotty toddy, baby. Get ready.
Pack the vault. It's definitely going to get crazy. South Carolina, over under. That is wrong. I think it's 5.5.
Yeah, that's definitely not 9.5. I still got it though. Beeman has something special in Norris Sellers, and I'm not sure all the cylinders will click year 1. They got top 3 toughest schedule again, hands down in college football. Yeah, you got impact players, Stewart, Mazio Bennett. Those guys will be impact players year 1. Get it. And Kilgore is emerging as a top safety DB in the SEC. You can put your stamp on that. I just think the train isn't all wheels go on the track yet. And that schedule was just like constantly running the gauntlet. You're facing a ranked team almost every other week, if not back-to-back weeks. So it's going to be rough.
Make sure you guys check out Garnett Roos with my guy Nino Brown and Brian Bosarge, all South Carolina Gamecock fans. They do a phenomenal job with that show. Make sure you all check that out. All righty. Tennessee, over under 9.5 games. How you feeling, Nino?
I got him under. Okay. Nico will go through some bumps and bruises, but he will ultimately get them to about 9.
You got him under at 9? Okay.
I got him at 9. I think they'll be bowl eligible in his first year, and he'll do his thing. They got another solid offense in the SEC. People sleeping on this room. It's a tough wide receiver room. These guys are all great, and they all got wheels, and people are kind of sleeping on them. A lot of young impact players offensively. And obviously, they have Pierce on the defensive side of the ball, who's probably going to give Hal Perkins a run for his money this year. So they could mess around and go over, but I got him at the under right now.
I'll wait to hear this next one. Texas, over under 10.5.
I'm not those cupcake dudes on fucking Twitter that just backtrack on everything they said about a team last year, right? And found a new team. Texas is going to be in the Final Four again. They earned their spot in the SEC. And Sasaka's built the Longhorns ready for fucking war. It's over. They're going to be in the Final Four. They're going over 10.5. Y'all sucker fought through a fucking straw, all right? Quinn Ewers is ready as he's ever going to be. He has no choice. The offense is loaded. Golden, Bolden, Bond, Wingo, Cooks, Butler, Niblick. And what did I say? I've been saying for a while. Whatever they had for holes on defense, they plugged it. Trey Moore, McCumber. The kid's probably going to be one of the best linebackers in the country. He started as a freshman. Anthony Hill Jr., Savia, Sorrell. Come on, bro. The Longhorns are cooking with Petro, and they're ready and locked and loaded. Hook them.
So you got them winning, going over, of course. So you got them winning 11 games, or you got them winning 12 games?
11 games.
Wow.
They got to win it to be in the Final Four.
They do. And I respect you for sticking with your guns on that one. I'm not sure, Nino. I'm not sure.
Let's talk. Let's bring it up.
Yeah. I was
Colorado. I think they. Michigan's going to be trying to find themselves at week 2.
Yeah, I agree. Early in the season,
get run the fuck over. Okay, so you're already looking at by the bye week 5-0. 5-0. They're going to beat UTSA. They're going to beat Loyola Marymount. They're going to beat Mississippi State handily. Okay, they got an off week. Oklahoma. I don't think that's the battle that you think it's going to be in the past. I think Texas is a little bit advanced.
I agree with you there.
So that's another dub. The Georgia game, like I said to you in the Georgia statement that 10-19 was the game. Got to remember, you're coming to Texas. It's not at home for Georgia. This one's going to be a knockdown, drag 'em out battle to the very friggin' end. Who's the better QB? Is it Dart? Is it Quinn? Okay. Who's the better coach at the moment in that game? Who pulls out the one play to one up the next guy? So that's a close. If they win that one, shut the X the fuck down. It's over for you guys. I'm coming for everybody's pie and I'm eating in front of you. Okay, because Vanderbilt, Florida, Arkansas, that's wins, man. That's wins. Kentucky, that's a win.
Oh yeah,
Texas
for sure.
A&M is a win. That the only game that they would lose is Georgia.
Michigan will be competitive, and I think that College Station game is going to be a little bit tougher than you think.
I'm a Connor Wegman guy. I don't trust Mike Elko worth a damn, bro. We're going from the ACC to SEC. Put your big boy fucking pants on. Let's ride. Let's ride.
For sure.
Because I mentioned a little bit. Let me see. Is it the next segment? Oh yeah, I got in the next segment. I'm 50-50 on Mike Elko. And I think his whole fucking squad is 50-50 on Mike Elko right now. That's a problem.
Hey, let's talk about it. Over under 8.5.
Under. Because here's my thing. Where's the identity? If Connor Wegman's not healthy and he's not your dude, where's the identity? Right? Who's the guy? Who's the wide receiver? You have Allen. You also have a guy that's been there for 2 years. All he does can do contribute to your team is possibly catch a touchdown here and there once in a while in Noah Thomas, right? Who's supposed to be a dog, but he hasn't lived up to the hype, right? Here's my question. I have it on the doc. Will Ruben Owens take over the backfield and have the Aggies offense run through him? Or is all that 5-star talent just going to go pissing in the wind because he hasn't lived up to it? And I was a guy that pounded the table about him. They got a lot of questions. There's a lot of questions. We're taking an MCAS test here, and it's ABC. And they're trying to just make a design when they're filling in the answers here.
For sure.
I'm not sure that game in College Station, yes. The atmosphere, yes. It's tough.
It's going to be raucous.
The talent, you want Texas against Texas. The talent that the Longhorns are putting on the table against the talent that the A&M is putting on the table right now.
Oh, yeah. Texas Longhorns are better. But we seen spots in the season last year, especially the games that Quinn Ewers wasn't there, of course, where that Kansas State game, Texas should have lost again.
But they come in the College Station at 10-1.
Yeah.
That's just gonna be swaying like a windmill in the breeze, baby. And you know that. They're gonna be underdogs in their own home. They might have more orange at College Station than they do have maroon in that game.
Nah. It depends. It depends how bad. It depends if things get really bad, maybe. But if Texas A&M is competitive, no.
What's competitive? 6?
Nah, it got to be at least 7. He got it. Seven's got to be competitive.
No, I got him at under 8.5, 7. All right. I mean, yeah. I mean,
Yeah.
listen, but only because they could probably mess it all up for Texas.
Yeah.
But I think Texas is coming in, especially if they're 11-0, they would probably be 1 or 2 in the country at that moment.
You know how electric that crowd's going to be. Remember, we didn't get the backyard brawl for a while. And remember how loud that game was last year. I think the stadium's going to be electric.
Yeah, go ahead.
I got a bold take for you. How you feel about Vandy? With that over under is 2.5, right? So we both agree it's over. Nina, this is about to piss you the hell off. You go ahead and clip this. Everybody get ready to clip this. Vandy, I'm more confident in Vandy winning 3 games than I'm confident in Texas winning 11 games.
That's fine. That's not a hot take, or that's not going to piss anybody the fuck off. But
it's going to piss. It'll piss some casuals off.
You're bringing in you went to the flea market and got your Louis luggage, okay?
Mm-hmm.
You're bringing in offensive coordinator Tim Beck and his partner in crime and Diego Pavia. They're going to surprise some people early. And in these games that they shouldn't even be in down the stretch, right? They're going to be in it. They're gritty style of play calling. Diego's gritty, will piss on your fucking logo and then score a touchdown the next weekend. They might win some games that they weren't supposed to. And people are sleeping on Cedric Alexander as a running back for Vanderbilt. He's a dude. He's like my Devin Mockabee type guy, for Purdue. Just bang him up runners. They can slash a little bit. Just get enough out of the hash and get out there and break. They're building something that could just fuck with people.
Yeah.
Okay.
It was some games last year and the year before, like, they beat Tennessee and Florida in the same season. Not last year.
Milton, bro. Come on. Come on, bro. I gotta deal with him. I gotta deal with him now.
Yeah, you gotta deal with him now.
That's what happens. That was my college football god.
Yeah.
No,
he got AR2, and then last year they were competitive in some games too. So people, want to see the huge moment. I like what Clark Lee is doing in Vanderbilt. It's subtle, but they're competitive. They're gritty. I think gritty is the perfect word that you mentioned for them.
Yeah.
So I'm confident in them getting 3 games this year. Yeah, very confident.
We can go back like we did last year, and we can when it's that game in College Station, we can go back and look at the record.
Yeah, we got it.
You can clip it. But I think when you watch the movie, that ending might be the same again.
And it might be the same. Hey, you got me with Texas last year. I'm just thinking. You look at their rosters, one of the best constructed rosters in all of college football. But how will that play style of SEC, are they ready for the big boys? They should be. They should 100% should be.
I feel like both him and Lanning have built their teams for the transition.
Yeah.
Right? They're built for the transition to both different conferences they're going to.
I'm higher on Oregon than I am on Texas this year, by the way.
I mean, obviously, and that's me being biased, obviously. But, they're going to go on a College Station. Like I said, either 10-1 or 11-0. But I don't think there's any other record besides those two at that time. Right? And Quinn Ewers is going to say, listen, motherfucker, I'm going to show you how you win the big game. And you ride off in the sunset. And you can have my leftovers when I'm done, Arch. But I'm going to show you how you do it. And I'm going to go be a first-round pick. And everybody that doubted me says I can't throw the deep ball. Blah, 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 blah. Just like they doubted Bo Nix, who can't throw the fucking deep ball. Still a first-round pick.
Yep.
He's still a first-round pick. You told me there was no way in God's green earth that Bo Nix was a first-round pick. Motherfucker, he was a first-round pick. There's a good chance Quinn Ewers could do the same shit and be a first-round pick.
Hey, man. The good people that listen to this show, y'all packed it out tonight. I truly appreciate y'all. Dude, we got y'all our episode today. I knew Nino was on one when he texted me, hey, you want to go early today? I already knew he was about to be on one, man. As I always like to say, there are no more victories in the sport that survive in advance. That's why college football has the greatest regular season. And until next time, y'all already know what it is. What's up, Nino? We'll see you in 2 weeks, brother. Yes, sir. Today I am the governor of college football. Yes, sir. The mayor of college football, a.k.a. Down.